There's a classic for you. Pulling that one out. No one expected me to say that today, I bet. Oh my god. Did you play that game? Welcome to the Nerd Enthusiast Gaming Podcast, where today we're going to be discussing Wipeout and our love of all things combat racing. When we say combat racing, we mean like extreme style racing. Your burnouts, your Mario Karts, they have weapons, right? Your cruisins, all that good stuff. So we're going to get into all that shortly. There's going to be different sections. We're going to do one with weapons. We're going to do one with no weapons, and then we're just going to be looking at what we call vehicular combat, which is kind of like Twisted Metal style games. We're going to wrap things up with a pulse check. Before we get into that, Wes, thank you for joining me today, sir. How you doing?
What's going on, my friend? I'm good. I love some Wipeout. Love some Wipeout.
Oh yeah, man, we're going to hop into that for sure. And then one other thing before we get into everything else, please make sure you guys consider supporting us over on Patreon, patreon.com/nerdenthusiast. You guys can support us for as little as $1 a month. One of our tiers over there is to get a shout out. Shout out to you, Peter, this month for supporting us. We truly appreciate it.
We do. We really appreciate you, Peter.
And then if you guys want to support us in a non-financial way, you guys can just give us a 5-star review over on Apple or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That really does help us out as well. Doesn't cost you a thing. If you're on YouTube, make sure you guys like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all that fun stuff for us, please. Here we go. Wipeout. Let's kick it off, Wes. I'm going to take it right over to you. Tell me about your experiences with Wipeout, how you feel, what you're thinking.
I love Wipeout, man. Love Wipeout. I remember PS1 Wipeout was a launch title or launch window title. Can't remember. But just seeing it was amazing. Amazing. You know, the hovercraft type combat, weapons, collecting weapons. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. So good, so good. But then we
Yeah,
got Wipeout XL. Ooh, took it to a whole nother level.
for sure. Super fast. It was really showcased what the PS1 could do. I don't know. Wipeout's awesome, man. Like, if you guys never
Mm-hmm.
played a Wipeout game, and it was challenging too. Like, it wasn't super easy. It wasn't like
Not at
uh,
all.
I wouldn't really call it pick up and play. It was like pick up and get your ass beat a few times and figure it out. Like eventually you're gonna figure out how to get better at the game, and different vehicles have different advantages and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the PS1 one, I think that was the first one I played. There's so many versions of Wipeout. That's the problem, right? They
It
do sort of
is.
blend together in my mind, so I'm trying to separate which ones are which. But I think the two I played the most was PS1 and N64. I played as well.
The N64 one was okay.
It was
I mean,
fine.
it was still Wipeout. I mean, Saturn got a version of Wipeout. Uh, it came out on PSP. It came out on I think PS3 or 4.
There was a PS4 version, but I
Mm-hmm.
think the PS4 version was like I want. Don't quote me on this. I want to say it was like a remaster of like the PS3 version, but it
Okay.
it also added VR, which is supposed to be spectacular. Unfortunately, I never played the VR mode on it. I need to go back and check that out. But hooking the VR up is such a pain in the butt, bro.
I know, I know. It's like my wife bought me one for our anniversary, and it's like I played it like 5 times, and then I haven't touched it because
Yeah,
it's
it's
like it's a hassle,
it
man.
is like you got to figure out. All right, how to do these cables again? Are you talking about the PS4 one or the PS5 one?
The PS4 one.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about too. The PS5 one is supposed to just be like one cable. It's supposed to be like a lot simpler to do. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
it's PSVR 2 is what it's actually called. I only
Okay.
have PSVR 1, but I loved it. It was great.
Yeah, it
But
was awesome.
it's just a constant hooking up and stuff. Like, who's gonna leave all that crap laying around? Who's gonna do that? Probably not many people.
No, definitely not. But back to Wipeout, man. I'm just thinking of some of the weapons, like the guided missile, the turbo boost. Just it was definitely something special.
Yeah, I know you brought it up earlier, but the soundtrack really helps. Especially in racing games, I think soundtracks are very important. Probably that'll be a theme that I mentioned probably multiple times today. But yeah, dude, the music was great. Come on, Prodigy's in there. Come on, man.
I was gonna say the second one gave us Prodigy, gave us Firestarter.
Yeah, yeah.
It introduced a whole new crowd to Prodigy and Chemical Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was the soundtrack was so good they sold it separately.
And that was not a thing that really happened back then. That's a lot more
Mm-mm.
common now. That many games get soundtracks, but back then it was like unheard of for the most part.
Definitely. Oh man, yeah. Wipeout, definitely one of our favorites. That kind of ignited my love for combat racing.
Yep. I would say I enjoyed that quite a bit. What ignited my love had to be Mario Kart. I mean, Mario Kart was
Mm,
epic, and I'm talking about the OG, the Super Nintendo version. I do like other versions of Mario Kart. In fact, I think the Switch version is probably like the definitive version of that game. But man, I couldn't believe how much fun it was, and it was built off of the F-Zero engine, which is another title we're going to get into later. But they wanted to figure out how to do multiplayer because F-Zero was a single player only game. So they were like, "How do we do multiplayer?" And then eventually they turned that into Mario Kart, which is awesome.
like we did our last video when we were talking about Super Nintendo and Mario Kart came up, and I admitted I had never played the original Super Mario Kart or Mario Kart at all. I know. I just didn't. I didn't jump on Mario Kart until 64.
Well, that would have been the next
The
one,
next one,
and
right? Because
that one was fantastic.
yeah, that was good. It was good. It definitely falls in the category of combat racing.
Oh yeah, man. But the multiplayer mode, you get weapons
Mm-hmm.
obviously while when you're racing, you can use those weapons. Freaking blue shells, which is I don't think they were in the first one. But yeah, the first one just had like green shells, red shells,
Mm-hmm.
bananas, stars.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
I mean, just the racing was fun. But like hitting people, you're getting close to the finish line. Somebody hits you with a red shell, takes you out, and they pass you by. Like, oh man, that feeling.
Yes.
Yes.
Or they shrink you down, and
Oh
then
yeah.
yeah,
Run you
Mario
over.
Kart. Mario Kart is a lot of fun. It's a great party game.
It is. And the ones that do have the combat, like when you go like the versus mode, the battle mode is what it's called, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're just trying to like knock off the person's balloons. You get 3 balloons attached to your cart. I love that mode too, man. So much fun. So much fun. Just it was couch co-op, baby. You can't go wrong.
I miss that. I miss that so much. Miss it
Blast.
so much. But it's so funny though that Mario Kart is still just as popular today.
It was the best-selling game on the Switch, and it was a remake of the one from the Wii U. It
From
wasn't
the
even a
yeah,
new one.
yeah. People love Mario Kart. You go to tournaments, it's either Mario Kart or Smash.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, Nintendo held a tournament this weekend. I forget what it was for, but they did do like an online tournament or something, which I can't imagine playing. And like Nintendo's online is garbage, so I can't even wrap my head around what that would be.
So when you played Mario Kart, who was your character?
I would vary.
Okay.
Frequently, it was Yoshi back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
especially. Now Donkey Kong is a heavier cart, so
Mm-hmm.
depending on the level of the people that I'm playing with, a lot of times I will take Donkey Kong to give them a slight advantage. Like I know how to use the heavier cart a little bit better because he's probably like my second character,
Okay.
but he goes a little bit slower. So if
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing someone who I'm like way outskilled, I'll usually pick Donkey Kong to try to help them out a little bit. But usually I do like Yoshi quite a bit, and I'd pick Toad sometimes.
Okay.
Never Mario. Not I don't really like playing as Mario.
I was a Luigi guy.
Okay,
I was
I
a
can respect
Luigi
that.
guy.
Mario's super balanced. Like if you want the
He
most
is.
like if you want the most balanced person, Mario's the one to pick. But if I'm being competitive, I got to pick one of the lights like Yoshi, but not the
Mm-hmm.
super lights, like the baby ones. Oh
Mm-hmm.
no, the newer ones that have the baby. No, 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 no. It's too light. And Luigi is probably like the medium. Like him and Mario are probably both medium cards. Let's stay on the Nintendo kick for 1 second, and then we'll switch things up. Let me know if you ever played this, Wes, but this was like super popular on the N64, and it went into the GameCube era as well. I think it died after that, but I could be wrong. Xtreme G was super popular on N64.
It was. It was really popular.
It's like
You know,
futuristic motorcycle racing. I guess is the
yes,
best way to describe it.
yes, with weapons,
With weapons, yes,
with
absolutely.
weapons. And the tracks they looped.
Mm-hmm.
But the one of the cool things about Extreme G was if you hit a certain speed, you kind of broke the sound barrier, and you heard like a boom, and then everything went quiet. It was awesome until you crashed.
Yeah,
Until you crashed.
yeah. That was one of the things about the N64. There were so many great racing games on that system. Like that, it's a racing game like haven over there.
Hmm.
And Extreme G was definitely one of them. I never owned the game. I think I rented it once or twice. I know some of my friends had it, so that was my main experience is just playing it through them mostly. And again, I did rent it like once or twice. Uh,
It was
very
challenging.
enjoyable.
It was
Yeah.
challenging. Coming off of Wipeout, it was different. I mean, it's motorcycles, so they handle differently.
Hmm.
And then the second one came out for 64, but then there was also Extreme G for PS2.
Oh, was there one on PS2? Okay.
There was one on PS2.
Was that the same one that was on the GameCube, or was that a different one? Because I know GameCube had one also.
It might have been the same one.
Okay. It would make sense that they would just
Hmm.
port the same game to try to get more money. I think that was an Acclaim game. I'm pretty sure Acclaim made those, if I remember correctly.
They did. They did. Man, they need another one. I want another one.
Hey, Acclaim's coming
Fine.
back, man. Maybe they'll give it to you. They don't own any of their IPs anymore because they sold them all off years ago, but maybe they can reclaim it and bring it back.
Well, I guess I found a new title I need to start begging for.
Now, this next one, you got to tell me all about this one. I have no familiarity with this all. Let me know about Roll Cage.
Roll Cage. Oh man, Roll Cage for the PlayStation 1. It was it was I'm trying I can't even describe it. They were like giant you were in a vehicle that had giant wheels, like, and but they rolled upside down, like it kept
Yeah, they
moving.
they could flip and land
They
on the
could
other
flip.
side to keep going.
Exactly.
There was a game on Super Nintendo like that, and I can't remember what the hell it was called. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, then we'll move
No.
forward.
But Roll Cage, fell in that category. It was very futuristic. I'm trying to remember. I should have played it recently, but I didn't. If I can't remember if it had weapons, I want to say it had weapons. But the fact that the vehicles would flip and you can kind of keep going was its novelty.
Yeah, there was a modern game like during the I want to say PS4 era, so pretty modern, that had that same gimmick where you could flip over. It's supposed to be excellent, and I came like
Mhm.
this close to buying it multiple times, and I never did. And of course, I can't remember the name of that one either. But that game always intrigued me. So yeah, check out Roll Cage. Was it just on PS1 or was it on other platforms?
No, it was just on PS1.
There you go, man. That was the power of PS1. They had so many games on it that didn't come out on anything else.
Man, there was so much originality though when PS1 was out.
There was, dude. And it's not like
So
today. Like
much.
today, I'm gonna go on a whole tangent, but today is just terrible. Like compared to like what we had before.
That's a topic for another conversation.
Not to say that good games aren't being made. I'm not saying there's. I still play modern games. I'm playing a modern game right now. There are good modern games, but like
There
the
are
the creativity is like next to dead because publishers aren't taking any risks basically.
none, none. But when you have stuff like Roll Cage and Extreme G, even Wipeout to a point, because when Wipeout came out, like I said, we never saw anything like that before.
Yeah, I
So
would say F-Zero was probably like the
the
precursor to
closest.
that, but yeah, Wipeout was obviously totally different.
So
What yeah, F-Zero doesn't have weapons, so but you know what does? Blur. And Blur is awesome, Wes. Blur is really, really cool. I know you picked this up a while ago. Did you ever get around to playing it?
I didn't, and I really
Ah,
want to play it. I really want to play it.
yeah, I mean, I don't remember all the details. I only played the game 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
But it is awesome. It is like an adult version of Mario Kart. You know, you got like real cars essentially, and different kind of weapon power ups, just like you would in Mario
Mm-hmm.
Kart. But they didn't necessarily do the same thing. Of course, you had like a speed boost and stuff, which is standard, you know, in any kind of extreme racing game. Um, but just so much fun to play, and it was just like it really was just like let's make Mario Kart with real cars, and that's the best way I could describe
And
the
that's
game,
what we got.
and it works. Like you know, the gameplay is good. It wasn't just like a cheap gimmick. It actually was very good, very well developed.
Well, I picked it up on your recommend. I found it pretty cheap at a little vintage antique shop tucked in a corner. You know, they had a little video game section, and it was in there, and it was in great condition. So I'm
That's
like,
awesome.
there it is, because I haven't seen it anywhere else.
I think most of the people who bought the game kept it because it sold well, but it didn't like they never made a sequel to the game, so it couldn't have sold
Mhm.
that well. You know what I mean? It didn't
Right.
sell crazy numbers or anything, but the
Yeah.
people who did buy it like seemed to
Mhm.
love it.
Yeah. When Level Up was open, when my store was open, we took trades all the time, especially for 360. Never saw it come in. My buddy Keith, who owns Jersey Video Games, he's got everything. Never seen it in his store.
Wow.
So I don't see it. I don't see it in the wild at all. So when I saw it, I had to grab it just for that reason.
Yeah, I think I picked mine up off of eBay. I think it was like, and this was years ago.
Mhm.
It was probably like $20 to $25, something like that. I think is what I paid for it. So I'm not sure what it's
Okay.
going for now.
You know what? We could check.
Game Eye,
Let's check. Let's
you
check real
check.
quick.
I'm gonna roll over here and roll right back.
So Blur for 360, you're looking complete in box about $35.
Okay, so yeah, it's gone up a little bit since I bought it.
It's not bad.
Yeah, for $35, it's worth it. Definitely worth picking up.
Now I just have to play
Yeah, for sure.
it. Now I just have to play it.
Well, let's reverse things because I have CTR and I've had it for years and I still haven't played it. But you've played CTR, so
I played it. I played it back then, and I played it again recently.
so let me ask you about the recent before you get into all the stuff.
Hmm.
When you're saying you played it recently, did you play the newer version that was on like PS4, or did you just replay the old version?
I replayed the old version,
Okay.
the old G PlayStation 1 version.
Yeah, I don't have that one. I only have the remake, but continue. Tell me all about CTR. Crash Team
It's
Racing.
it's Mario Kart with Crash Bandicoot characters. It a lot of the levels. Well, it all takes place in Crash's world. So a lot of through the jungle and on the beach, but it's a mirror version of Mario Kart.
I hear from some people on the internet that's
Mm-hmm.
better than Mario Kart. What do you think?
Ooh, ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. I can't go there only because I didn't play CTR enough, and at the time I wasn't a really huge Mario Kart fan to really compare. But it was fun. It's fun. But to say it's better than Mario Kart,
It
that's a
sounds like blasphemy to me, but I mean,
that's a bold
I
statement,
never
man.
played it, so I can't say one way or the other. But it does sound ridiculous.
It's good. It's fine. It's fun. It's Crash Bandicoot. It's Mario Kart with a Crash Bandicoot skin on it.
There you go. Did you end up buying the newer version or no?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I should.
Oh, just like Blair, I got to go back and play that version because it's. I fully intended on playing it. I think I got it like pretty cheap, like
Hmm.
$20 brand new. When it went on sale after it's been out for a while, and I just never got around to it.
Well,
Just like
the new one's on
PS4,
PS4. Okay, and Xbox One.
PS4, Xbox One. I might have came out on Switch. Who the hell knows? I don't know.
Everything comes out on Switch.
Yeah, it was probably some dumbed down version on there, I'm sure. Um, Hey, let's just keep it going. Another one I picked up at some point and never played, Sonic and Sega All Star Racing, which again some people say is better than Mario Kart, which also sounds like blasphemy to me. But again, I haven't played this, so did you play this one at all?
I didn't.
Okay,
You
so
know what? I saw it. I remember it coming out. But I never picked it up. I don't know, something about it. It looked too cutesy for me. I don't know. And I love Sonic, but I passed on it. I passed on it.
apparently, this is stupid, but I heard this through someone else, and I don't know if it's true or not. I never played the game, so that's why I don't know if it's true. But I heard that in the beginning of the game,
Mm-hmm.
it's Sonic, right? Why the hell is he driving a car? What purpose does that serve? Why wouldn't he just run? But apparently, like something happens at the beginning of the game, and he has to
Uh-huh.
drive, and he cannot run. It's like, of course, yeah, you had to say something about that. Like, come on, guys. So they do apparently acknowledge that in the original game.
Okay.
There was also a redone version, like I wouldn't say like a remake. I think it was just like an upgraded version or something like that that they put out
Mm-hmm.
shortly after. I think it was probably like within like a couple years of the game coming out, and that was on like PS3, 360 because it was in the same generation. You know, they just made an updated version, and now in this year, 2025, they're going to be
Mm-hmm.
remastering it, I guess, or they're making a new version. Somebody tell me. I have no idea. They're either making a brand new version or they're remastering that one. I
Of
don't know which one
Sega
it
All
is.
Star Racing.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I want to
Okay.
say it's a new game because I don't think it has the same name, but it is. It is that essentially.
Well, I have an ask for whoever's watching our video. Please leave a comment if you think CTR Crash Team Racing or Sonic and Sega All Star Racing is better than Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I'm curious to get your input.
Don't just say one's better than the other. Tell me why.
Yes.
Leave a little detailed explanation as to why you think it's better than Mario Kart, and I will tell you how you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I guess I never played either.
Or if you're like Matt and think it's blasphemy.
Now, one game you can defend, or I could defend, is RC Pro Am. Now, this has multiple
Mhm.
versions too. There was original Nintendo. There was a Genesis version. Have you played any of these, Wes?
You know, I have RC Pro Am on my shelf and I never touched it.
For what console do you own it for?
Nintendo.
The original.
Hmm.
Got to get the Genesis version, bro. You got to get the RC Pro Am. It's called like Championship Edition on the Genesis. Is spectacular. So my history with this was it was like the day before a holiday. It was either Thanksgiving or Christmas. I'm 99% sure it was Thanksgiving,
Hmm.
and I had a Genesis. My cousin had a Genesis. We were going to his house for Thanksgiving. I rented that game the day before Thanksgiving. Brought it over there, thinking, "Oh yeah, we'll play this, and like everybody else can do whatever." We played that game the entire time that Thanksgiving occurred. I stopped only to eat, and then immediately went back and played the game. And it is spectacular in every way, shape, and form. It is definitely better than the NES version. I do like the NES version. It is
Hmm.
similar, but it's just 10 times better on the Genesis. Like the graphics are better. There's more stuff you can do. It's just a better experience, even though it's the core of it is the same, but it is
Okay.
a much better version.
Okay. I mean, that I do find in the wild every now and then. So maybe I'll pick it up.
Yeah, it's not very expensive. What is going to be challenging, let's say, is the weird. It's like a isometric view,
Hmm.
and like you turn super strange. Like you have to get used to it. It's going to take you a few minutes to get used to the way you turn.
There are
uh,
weapons in it.
oh yeah, yeah, you get like rockets, bombs, the hell, the oil slicks. You can drop an oil slick behind you. I think you could throw like tacks down or something to like pop tires and stuff. Rare made it. This is a Rare game.
No way.
Yes, sir. Rare, yeah.
Okay.
Classic, man. Like this is like one of my favorite Rare games of all time. Like top 5 Rare game for me.
Oh. Okay, well maybe I have to hunt it down and play it.
Yeah, man, you should. They made RC Pro Am 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I've ever played RC Pro Am 2. Not that I wouldn't have. I just don't. I don't think I ever got around to it. I don't even know if I own it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say this next game, I definitely played, and I played a lot. Diddy Kong Racing.
Planes, boats, and automobiles. You got your choice. Or carts, I guess. Diddy Kong was really cool. Rare again. Rare back to
Mm-hmm.
back. Rare made this. I don't know why, because they had Mario Kart, and at that point Nintendo was like a second party to them. So Nintendo was like, "Yeah, just make something to compete with Mario Kart." I guess I have no idea, but it was very good, very competent. I don't. There's people who love it. Like again, another game that people think is better than Mario Kart. Y'all are crazy. Look, I do like it. It ain't better than Mario Kart. It's damn good. It ain't better than Mario Kart.
It maybe it's just the love for Donkey Kong
Okay.
because everybody loved Donkey Kong Country
Yeah,
and
they
Donkey
did.
Kong Country 2, and everybody loved Diddy. So to take Diddy and throw him in his own game, it was bound to happen, and people fell in love with it.
It works. You had to like if I remember correctly, you had to collect bananas, and I think you had to collect small bananas, and there was big bananas, and then
Mm-hmm.
they did something, but I couldn't tell you what the hell they were, and there was definitely hidden stuffs, or like I think there was like hidden paths you could take, and they would have like collectible things or something like that, right?
You're asking me.
Yeah,
Oh man, you're making me dig.
I'm fairly
I
certain there was.
I can't. I want to say there was two. I can't remember 100%.
Yeah, I wish I could. Man, it's been so long since I played Diddy Kong, but I
It
think
has.
you
Oh
couldn't
man,
like
I haven't touched mine in like forever.
it might have been level completion. Like you might like if you beat a level and you didn't collect like every banana or something, that might not have given you like 100%
Mhm.
completion or something like that. Of the race. Despite you winning the race, it was something weird like that. I don't remember.
But it was fun.
Yeah,
It was
and
a lot of fun.
the airplanes were cool. I don't think I like the boats as much, but I really don't remember. Um, the carts was definitely the best part. I mean, did you play with the boats and the
I
airplanes?
toyed with it, but I like the carts the best.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They never made another one. Very interesting. I'm pretty sure that game sold damn well, but also Xbox bought them. So I think there was only a few years before Xbox had purchased them.
That they did. That they did. Um, yeah, no, there was never another Diddy.
No, because after the N64, you know, that was it. I went to Xbox right after that because then the next generation, uh, the next generation would have been GameCube and original Xbox, and that
Hmm.
is right. That is right because Grab by the Ghoulies was the first rare game that came out on Xbox.
Yes. Yep. Yes, it was.
There's a classic for you. Pulling that one out. No one expected me to say that today, I bet. Oh my god. Did you play that game?
I
Grab
did.
my
It was fun. It was fun. It was a launch title, so and it was by Rare, so I was excited to play it.
I think I got it on the cheap like much later and was just like, I'm not playing this.
It's definitely worth a playthrough.
Okay.
It is. It is. At least back then it was.
Yeah.
I don't know how it holds up now though.
Who knows? I also don't know how this holds up. Little Big Planet karting is Little Big Planet from PlayStation. This is their version of karting, to compete with Mario Kart. Similar situation to what I just explained. I did pick up this game up years later on the cheap.
Mm.
I don't know anything about the game. I never touched it once. Wes, have you played Little Big Planet before?
I didn't even bother.
Now, to the contrary, not a single person in the world has ever said that that game is better than Mario Kart. So I'm not even asking you guys about that one. It's probably mediocre as hell. I'm sure it's fine, but it ain't competing with Mario Kart.
I mean, I did like Little Big Planet itself,
Yeah, it was cool.
but with Sackboy and stuff. But no, I didn't do the karting.
You know what's ridiculous? It this is just of course this is an opinion, but it's the right opinion. Little Big Planet was fine. The kart
Mm-hmm.
racing was fine. PS5 launch title, Sackboy's Big Adventure. is excellent, and no one played it. It's so damn good, so underrated. It's like, imagine if they made Little Big Planet, but instead of everybody
Mhm.
just creating like their own stuff, they just made a game, and they just made a game, Wes, and it works really well, and the gameplay
Really?
controls really well. And there's other PlayStation stuff in there because you can put on like the suit and you look like the dude from God of War or whatever.
Right.
Uh, it's so good, and no one played it, Wes. It's a shame. It's a real shame.
Wow.
Please
It
go
was
play that game.
it was that good, huh?
I mean, listen, they're not making Sony's made like Astrobot and stuff since then, but
Right.
nobody, even now, nobody's really making platformers on a high caliber level. This was a high caliber platformer that everyone should have played. This was I would say this game was as good as like some of the not the lower titles of Mario. Like it was a damn good game,
Hmm.
and it's a shame that no one played it, or not
And
many people did.
I love a good platformer.
Check it out, man. It's probably like pennies on the dollar now because it was a
Okay.
launch title and no one bought it.
Okay.
You got to tell me about this one because I did skip this one. It's something I always looked at. Full auto Xbox 360 generation. I think a launch title or at least launch window.
Mhm.
You tell me all about it, sir.
Yes, it was. It was combat racing with cars. Uh, I, I don't want to call it like a Mad Max racer,
Okay.
but it was definitely cars with like the big motors and the big guns on the hoods, and it had destructible environments.
That's right. It did have destructible. Man,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot all about that. You're absolutely right because I do remember seeing like the video and stuff, and I couldn't remember
Mm-hmm.
what it was in it. And it was like it wasn't really if I remember correctly, it was like cartoonish, but also realistic. But it looked, it was colorful and stuff. It wasn't like going for uber realism.
Correct.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
it was for a launch title for 360. It was impressive. Just going by the destructible environments was
Did
nice.
didn't Sega make that, or did they publish that? Because I thought that they were involved. Maybe I'm completely off base, but I thought that they did one or the other. Do you remember?
I want to say Sega definitely published it because
Okay,
it was a Sega title.
yeah, I was pretty sure it was. Sega made some awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff.
Yes, they did.
But yeah, there you go. Pick up full auto, an old school Xbox 360 game. Maybe I'll grab that at the SoCal Gaming Expo this year. I'm sure it's cheap, so maybe I'll put that on my list. This goes back to Wipeout, Wes, because
Mm,
this is there's multiple versions of this game. They all
mhm.
again they all may blend together depending on how many of them you played. But Road Rash, uh, you know, PS1. There's an N64 version.
There's a
There's
Genesis version,
there's a Genesis version.
which is what
Uh,
I played it on.
yep. I think they made Road Rashes like later after that too, but I don't remember. I
Well,
think most.
PS1 had Road Rash 3D, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it.
And
I didn't like it at all.
64 had Road Rash 64.
Hmm.
And then what was the Genesis one? Just Road Rash
It was just
probably.
Road Rash 1, 2, and possibly 3.
Oh wow, I didn't even realize there was that many on Genesis.
So, would you consider Road Rash the start of the combat racing?
You do have weapons. You are
You do
knocking
have
people off their
weapons.
vehicles.
You were on motorcycles. For people who don't know Road Rash, it was a motorcycle racing game
It's not
where
though. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you had bats and chains and other things you can use to fight,
Crowbars.
and crowbars to fight your opponent as you're racing.
It's not the. I wouldn't say it's the original car combat game just because RC Program came out way before it. So,
Okay.
or maybe
Okay.
not way before, but certainly before it. It had to have. Had to have. It was on NES. So it could have been a late NES title though. That is
Mhm.
possible. And Road Rash could have been an early Genesis title. So I'll have to look into that.
All I know is Road Rash was so much fun. Just hitting somebody with a crowbar as you're and trying to kick them because you can kick them too.
Yeah, you can kick them off the.
Kick them off their bike.
What an awesome game, man.
It was. It was. I didn't like the 3D ones. Like the 64 one, I didn't feel. The PlayStation one, I wasn't crazy about.
Yeah, I think the Genesis one probably was probably the better version. I have not played the PS1 version. I did play the N64 version.
Hmm.
It's fine. It's a fine Road Rash game. It doesn't look as it looks like all polygonal and whatever, very basic 3D game. But I'm sure back then it would have been like, oh, this is amazing. But when I played it recently, I played it like I don't know within the past year or two
Hmm.
on N64, and it's fine.
I mean, Road Rash even came out for the 3DO.
Oh my god.
It did. It did.
Yeah, back then it was super popular, man. They made them on a bunch of systems. I don't know what the last system was, but maybe they did a PS2 version. Maybe I don't know.
Really? I don't. Okay. Got to.
No clue. But they didn't make them anymore. That's for damn sure. They haven't made a Rash game in forever.
That's for sure. It was EA. That was
Yeah,
EA property.
yeah. EA. That game will only sell like a million copies. That's not enough for EA to eat. That's not happening. Jack X Combat Racing, a title I haven't played before, but we had to put it on here. It does have weapons and stuff. Jack is a popular, or was a popular, PlayStation character. I don't know the last time they did anything with Jack,
Jack and
but
Daxter? No, it's been a minute.
yeah, I think I prefer the Jack and Daxter games, but the Combat Racing, this was also supposed to be pretty good. I just never got around to playing it.
It was fine. It wasn't nothing special. It was combat racing. Weapons, different vehicles, different characters. It took the formula of Mario Kart. So everybody in the Jack and Daxter universe, had a vehicle.
Yeah,
You
it's,
know,
it's surprising that they would do that with just Jack and Daxter. Like that's crazy to me. Like, oh yeah, let's put Jack and Daxter in here. just characters from those two or three games, whatever they had out at the time.
yeah, I mean, the Jack and Daxter games in general were really good, and then they kind of everybody wanted another one, and they gave us something different. They gave us
Infamous.
that. Well, they
Yeah.
gave us Jack and Daxter Racing,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which which isn't. I'm just looking at Game Eye. It's not crazy expensive. Um, like a sealed copy, you could pick up for under $40.
Wait, it wasn't Infamous. Jack and Dexter was made by Naughty Dog, so this would have
Hmm.
they would have made The Last of Us or something after this.
Hmm.
Sly Cooper was made by Sucker Punch, and then they
Hmm.
turned into Infamous after that. I'm conflating the two. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh man, you're talking about Sly Cooper. I want another Sly Cooper game so bad.
They made four of them, but I never played
Mm,
that one. I think I played the first three. They're all
need a
great.
new one.
Agreed. All right, Wes. So we talked about the ones with weapons, our combat, racing games with weapons. Now we're going to talk about without the weapons. We have to start with the goat, Burnout.
Oof. Yeah. Well, which Burnout?
Arguably, you're going to say three. I'm going to say Revenge. I already know that's what's going to happen. They're both fantastic. I can't really argue. I can just say I think Revenge is better. I'm not going to argue that three is worse. They're almost equally as good. I
They
just
are
have more
really,
nostalgia for
really
three.
good. They
They're,
are really, really good.
I
They're
mean, it
really,
doesn't get
really
much more
good.
fun than that, really.
And the first Burnout game was just very average,
Hmm.
and it was just like, okay. And then they did Burnout 2, and they added the crash mode, which made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's when people really started to pay attention.
But then they did 3 takedown. Oh man, it was on at that point.
Yeah, the takedowns made a huge difference, man. Like traffic checking, taking people down. Oh my god, the slow motion when you would
Oh,
hit the car and you would see the whole car like just get destroyed. So cool. And then
mm-hmm.
you just keep racing like 2 seconds later. My god.
And it introduced the world of Fall Out Boy. Dance Dance. Because that was like one like the main song.
Yeah, that's when they like broke out. They had a
Hmm.
few albums before them, but that was like the breakout album.
And then it got even better with Burnout Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, such awesomeness.
Yeah, it's
Love it.
really, really,
Love
really
it.
good. I mean, Revenge and Takedown are very similar. Like they're not worlds apart by any means. I played more of Revenge, and I think I just have more nostalgia for Revenge. Um,
Well, Revenge Gate introduced rivals.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, it
that makes sense.
introduced the rivals. So that kind of what set the two apart. But then everything fell apart when they gave us Burnout Paradise.
What a disappointment. And I know some people
Ah,
really, really love Paradise, but I'm like, dude, this. I played it for like a half an hour. So it's like, why am I driving? Just put me in the damn race. Why do I want to drive to this city to get to a race? Just put me in the race, and then I won't have to drive to the race. How about we do that?
it's all I wanted to do. It's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to drive around and view the scenery. I didn't want to go to find a garage and change cars. No, 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 no. That's not burnout.
We're never gonna have Burnout. Even if EA brought Burnout back, it would not be the same because those people left. They're making different games now.
Mm-hmm.
The main people who left are still making Burnout like games called Dangerous Driving, which we're going to get into in a little while. Um,
Which is really good.
you know what? Let's just do it now. Forget it. Dangerous Driving is made by the people who made Burnout, and it's awesome. And they're making a new game, probably coming out this year. I don't remember the name of the game, but if you Google Three Fields Entertainment, you will find out whatever the name of that game is. Because they're the ones who made Dangerous Driving. Dangerous Driving is Burnout without the crash mode, essentially. That's the best way I could
Yes,
describe it. And there's no official like they might have some songs in there, but what you really need to do, if you have a Spotify premium account, you can link it to the game and you can play whatever you want while you're racing it. It is spectacular.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Dangerous Driving, you are 100% correct, is the spiritual successor to Burnout.
Yeah. And if you're wondering why didn't they make a crash mode, they had a game called Danger Zone, I think is what it was called. And the Danger Zone is literally just the crash mode. So I think they were just like, cool, if you want crash mode, here's crash mode in this version of this game. And then if you want to get dangerous driving, it's going to be like, the burnout like.
I was impressed how close to Burnout Dangerous Driving was.
It was great, man. It was
It was
fantastic.
great. It was. It really was. I was like, wow, this is Burnout.
It is. So yeah, if Burnout is ever made again, it's not going to be by those people. It's going to be by a new team. Could it be great? Yeah, it's possible. Is EA ever going to do one? Probably not. Again, not going to make them, the boatload of cash that they're looking for. Even if they make it, I don't have faith that it would be the same. Those people aren't on there. They stuck them on Need for Speed and stuff like that. If you want to burn out, look for Dangerous Driving. Look for whatever Three Fields Entertainment is doing next.
And it's so sad because Burnout was such a beloved IP.
Dude, it was like uber popular, man. Like when like Three and Revenge came out, everybody was
Hmm.
playing that. Everybody
Yes.
was playing that.
I
Paradise
mean,
came out, and a lot of people played Paradise too. That was even a really big game, but
it was
that
huge.
you kind of split the audience though. Half the people were like, "Oh, this is even better," and then the other half, like me and you, were like, "What the hell did you do?"
Agreed. Agreed.
So, but yeah, even Paradise was huge, man. They remade Paradise a few years ago and put it back
Hmm.
out. They re-released it,
Hmm.
and I was like, all right, well, this game it probably sold pretty decently, but EA again was probably like, well, it only sold like 3 million copies. We needed to sell like 10 million copies to justify making another one or something like that. Idiots.
EA, listen to your public, man. We need another Burnout title. Non-Paradise. Go back. Go back to its roots.
Yeah, that's right. Old school. The next one here. Why don't we jump to this one, Wes? I'm gonna let you talk about this for a minute. Give me a break. Split Second. This is a Xbox 360 PS3 generation title, which I never
Hmm.
played, but I did pick up. I do own it. Tell me all about it, sir.
You need to play it. You need to play it. It's very Burnout,
Okay,
but it had it. Your environment basically was your weapon.
that sounds cool.
It does, because like you raced and you drifted to build up like a power bar, like a boost bar, and once it's full, you can set it off to change your environment, which can cause hazards and cause your other racers to crash, but it changes the track.
That's awesome. Now, how does it? So when those things happen, that doesn't affect you. It only affects the other people. I'm assuming.
No, you can get caught in it. You can get caught in the mix.
Okay, that's more interesting. I was gonna say like that's how do they justify that? Because you would assume that it's like
Mhm.
you're not prone to getting that damage or whatever is happening. But if you are, then I guess that makes it more interesting. Like, well, you might be screwing everybody else up, but you might be screwing yourself up too.
Yourself up too. Oh yeah, you had to be a good driver. Graphics were nice. It was super fast, very responsive. Like for example, there was a you were driving through like a I guess like an underpass,
Okay,
and if you ignited the environment, like a big bulldozer with a wrecking ball kind of interrupted the track and stuff started crashing down, and you can get caught in it. Yeah, there's another one where if you're racing in an airport, and if you ignite the environmental explosion, a traffic tower, airplane tower, like starts to fall. You see a plane start to crash, and it affects the track.
that's
So you
crazy.
have to your track takes a different route now. Ah, Split Second was so good, so good.
Yeah, it sounds like those are just like set piece moments that are all queued up and ready to go as soon as you
Mhm.
can launch that. That's awesome, man. That does sound fantastic. I do need
Yeah.
to play that game. That's another game that sold very well, uh, and there's no sequel to. So
That was, and I'm surprised. I think that was put out by Disney.
uh, it may have been. I thought Disney did Blur, but you might be right because Blur and Split Second came out within. I want to say within like 6 months of each other, if I remember correctly. Like they were kind of close together. Disney did one of the two, but maybe it was Split Second. It could have been. I don't remember. I have no idea.
Let's look. Yep, nope. Disney put it out.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, it was put out by Disney Interactive.
All right, let's hop to Cruisin' Blast. Now, I don't know if you've played this one. The Cruisin' series has been around for a while, so we can say the Cruisin' series, I guess. Blast
Hmm.
is the newest version, and it feels like Cruisin' mixed with Burnout is the best way I could describe it. Like it's there's all this over the top stuff is happening, but you get your boosts. You can traffic check people like you would in Burnout. You don't get that whole slow motion and like
Hmm.
it's not as cool, right? You just make them crash and you kind of move forward. There's hidden stuff in the game. There's collectibles to unlock stuff for cars. It's just a lot of fun, and it's available. Originally came out in arcades in like I don't know 2017 or something like that. It was an older arcade game, and they made it for the Switch, and that's
Cruising
the version.
Blast.
Yeah, yeah, it's in the arcade. In fact, there's a Dave and
Okay.
Buster's near my house. I just started going there. They have
Hmm.
Cruise and Blast there, and I played it there. It's very similar to the Switch version. Switch version's fantastic. It's not like terrible for any means. So I highly recommend getting the Switch version if you can. I don't think it came out for a single console though. It didn't come out. It didn't come out for Xbox or
Nope.
PlayStation. Only
Nope.
on the Switch, which is bizarre. But it's very good. It's very good on the Switch.
But I did pick it up on your recommend because you was like, "Oh my god, you got to get this," and it was on sale, so I picked it up. But like the cruising games in general, kind of, I want to say they evolved because the first Cruising USA was just a driving game.
It felt more like that old Sega series, Outrun. It felt more like Outrun,
Hmm.
I would say in the beginning.
It did, it did, but then it kind of shifted, and then we got what San Francisco Rush.
But that was a different series. That has nothing to do with cruising. But yes, yes, we did get San Francisco Rush for sure. That
Same
we're gonna talk
same
about.
same company, right?
I don't remember. I'm not sure. I have no idea.
Because then we had Cruising World.
Cruising World is when they started adding some like the really over the top stuff. I do remember that. Um, yeah, I think they had dinosaurs in Cruising World.
Okay.
So There were, I think there was another one in between them too, but I can't remember. I have no idea. They made a bunch of cruising games, but my point is, Blast is fantastic, and you should absolutely play it.
So does Blast play more like the Rush games?
Blast plays kind
Because
of.
you had San Francisco Rush and you had L.A. Rush, if I'm not mistaken.
LA
So
Rush was PS2.
okay, so does Cruising Blast play more like the Rush games or the cruising games?
It plays like the speed and everything feels like you're playing a cruising game. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say Rush always felt kind of slow. You know, it was fun, but it wasn't like it never felt as fast as cruising did. So cruising feels fast as like cruising always has felt fast, but the new version feels like it has hybrids of Burnout inside of it,
Okay.
and everything's very over the top. Like you're gonna see dinosaurs, you're gonna see all sorts of
Mm-hmm.
crazy crap happening. Like in split second, when your environment changes, there are things that happen, but they're automatic. Like it's part of the level. It's not something you're triggering.
Okay. Okay.
But it's fantastic. Highly recommend. Next up is F-Zero. So this was a SNES title. Obviously, they re-released this and made different versions. There's one on Game Boy Advance. There's Super Nintendo. There's N64. There's GameCube. There's lots of versions of F-Zero, just none recently. Uh, unless you want to count F-Zero 99, which was that multiplayer thing they did on Switch. But F-Zero was basically like I almost said Wave Race. It was nothing like Wave Race. Oh my god, Wipeout.
Like
It was
Wipeout.
yeah, yeah. It was basically Wipeout. Probably before Wipeout. Super fast. Like used that mode 7 that the SNES had,
Mm-hmm.
and it did. It made you feel like you were going super fast, and it was challenging. It was not. It was not easy. You know, especially I think as that series got further in, like they got dude, they're hard, bro. The GameCube version's friggin' hard, man.
I hear. I never played an F-Zero game, and I love combat racing.
Dude, I'm really surprised. Now there's no weapons,
Mm-mm.
so
Right.
you got to take out the weapons from Wipeout. There's no weapons, but it
Mm-hmm.
feels like you're going as fast as Wipeout. It has that vibe. Um, Original Nintendo music, so good music, but it's not like a licensed soundtrack or anything like that.
Yeah, that's one I missed. On Super Nintendo, 64, GameCube. Never played an F-Zero game. I know about it. I just never physically sat down and played it.
Yeah, I would say start with like SNES probably. They're all very good versions. Like it doesn't matter which one you pick up, they're all pretty
Mm-hmm.
good. But the SNES one, dude, it's probably I swear to God, it's probably like a $10 game loose. It's probably like a $20 or $30 game boxed. Uh, just because they sold so many of them, it was a huge seller for them. Star Wars Pod Racing. Now, if you didn't know better, let's say, what the hell are you talking about? The game is awesome.
Yes, it is.
If you're younger, you have no idea what we're talking about. Like, you're talking about the stupid pod racing from episode 1. Yes, they made
Mm-hmm.
an amazing game from it somehow. Don't know how, but they did it. And there's a Dreamcast version.
Yes, there is. There was a 64, a Nintendo 64 version, and there was a Dreamcast version.
And in the arcade, it had some big ass pod that you sat in, which was awesome. Dude,
Yes.
that's probably the definitive way to play the damn game. Sit your ass in the pod. That's right, man.
That game was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. It looked nice. You had a sense of speed. If anybody seen episode Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace, it's just they just took that scene, that what 10 minutes of film footage, and
Yep,
turned it into a game, and
whole
it
game.
was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was really fun pod racing, and like even that scene in the movie is like there's not a lot like yeah you want to get them back to the action or stuff, but again they kept it short in the movie. It's to the point, and like
Hmm.
it was good. It was
It was good.
surprisingly good. If
Hmm.
that scene went on for like 20 minutes, I'd probably want to put a bullet through my head. But they had they had a good pacing with it. Like it was like it was fine. If you played God of War Ragnarok and you're the little boy picking flowers, I think that section went on for like 5 hours. I wanted to turn the game off. I nearly did. That was bad pacing. But yeah, pod racing is so much fun. It's so much fun. If you have a Dreamcast and N64, you should absolutely buy these
Mhm.
games. They're not that expensive. Even the Dreamcast, which is getting expensive, I think the pod racing game is like $40 or less. Like something
Okay.
like 30, $40 is what I'm thinking the podcast game is on Dreamcast. And that I bought that one like a year or two ago, so that's relatively close to the same timeline as what it would cost today.
On Dreamcast?
Yeah, it's like 30, $40, something like that.
Well, let's check. Let us check right now. Star Wars Pod Racer for Dreamcast. Complete in box. You're real close. Right now it's going for about $26.
Okay, so even cheaper than I thought. You should
Mm-hmm.
absolutely buy the game for God's sake. For $26, come on, man. Come on.
It's
Spend
worth it.
spend $26 at McDonald's nowadays. Go get the damn pod racing game. All right, Wes. These last two, I'm gonna need your help with a little bit. Now, Hydro Thunder, I have played very minimally, and it is awesome. This is like a wave racing
Ugh,
like game. Um, we didn't put wave racing on here, and we have Hydro Thunder. Can you help me figure out why we did
I don't know.
that?
I would say take out Midtown Madness and put Wave Race in there.
All right, on the fly, we're getting rid of Midtown Mandates. There, we had that on here. Nobody cares. Putting wave race in right below it. All
But
right.
Hydro Thunder, Dreamcast launch title, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Power was it power speedboats? You picked up power ups, not weapons, which modified your boat. And you had like these super exaggerated jumps. You had definitely had a sense of like the water physics.
Mm-hmm.
So when you did a high jump and you came down, your boat bobbed up and down in the water. Oh, awesome! I loved Hydro Thunder.
I'd never played that original one. I played. There was like I don't think it was a re-release. I think it was a sequel or something. They put it on. It was on Xbox 360 because I played it with backwards compatibility on Xbox One. I had a blast playing that game. It was really really good. Uh, to Wes's point, like I think you do tricks and stuff, right? If you hit like ramps, you do tricks, kind of like in Wave Race, also.
You could, if you got enough air, you could.
Yeah, but it was mostly about speed.
It was all about speed.
Wave Race is more about like doing tricks and like you can do different stuff. Yes, you're in a race. It says race in the title. Yes, obviously you're racing, but you hit ramps, do tricks, stuff like that. Wave Race always broke the ground for water physics. Like when you saw that in
Mm-hmm.
N64, it was like, oh my god, looks like crap now.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, it was like, oh my god. And then Blue Storm came out on GameCube. Like, oh my god, it can't get better. It got better than that too. But for the time, I mean, those water physics were spectacular.
So would you classify Wave Race as a combat racer or just a straight
No,
racer?
I mean, you're not. It's not combat. No, that's probably why we didn't. Did we put Hydro Thunder on there because of those power ups? Like, were you hitting other people, or were they just making you faster?
They were just making you faster.
See, then I don't think that should be in there either. I don't know. It's not combat.
No, no, it's not combat.
Who cares? They're awesome. You should play both of them. For our next topic, guys, we're going to be talking about vehicular combat. I know that's been a theme throughout the show, but this is like your. Well, we're going to talk about both of them. Vigilante 8, Twisted Metal. That's the best way I can describe these. So let's start out with Vigilante 8, I guess. That came out on N64 first. This was this the one that was made by Rockstar, or am I misremembering that? I could be.
Vigilante 8? It was, I
Yeah.
think it was an Activision title, if I'm not mistaken.
Which one did
But
Rockstar made some crazy game back in the day? You're like, Rockstar made that? I thought it was Vigilante 8. I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
but no, Vigilante 8 was on PS1.
And then 64. 100% on N64.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, but it also came out on PS1 because then you had Second Offense,
Yeah.
which was the sequel.
Haven't heard that in forever. Oh, man.
And when we talk about vehicular combat, it's more of, it's not a racing game,
That's
but
right.
you
It's not a
are
racing game. You're destroying the other cars.
destroying the other cars. You're just riding around, blowing other cars up, and different weapons you use and pick up. But yeah, it is definitely not a racing game.
It's like battle royale. The last car standing wins, basically.
Yep.
And Vigilante 8, I remember seeing it. I did not play Vigilante 8. It always looked cool. It was something I wanted to get around to. I never did. Did you play any of the versions of it?
I did. I played the first one and the second one. It was, you know what? Because okay, so we have to talk about this. We have to talk about Twisted Metal because you can't talk about Vigilante 8 unless you talk about Twisted Metal.
Yeah, the Twisted Metal was like the precursor to this,
It
basically.
was, and Twisted Metal was great.
Yeah,
The first one was very different. It was a PlayStation launch window title,
yeah.
if
The
I'm not
commercial was
mistaken.
iconic, man. The killer clown,
Mhm.
the ice cream truck. The hell was that clown's
Yep.
name? I can't remember. Oh man, I don't remember.
Now I'm drawing a blank. And I watched the show too. The show was awesome.
Oh, I've never seen the show. I heard it
Oh
was
my
good
god,
though.
it's really really good. Um, and it was vehicular combat. It had a story to it, but you were riding around this area just like blowing stuff up, like blowing up the other players.
Yeah, it was a blast, man. I had
You
I had a
know,
tough time controlling it at first. I do
mhm.
remember that. Like, I'm like, what the hell is this? But after a while, you get the hang of it. You're like, oh my god, this is so much fun. I could do this all day.
Yeah, different vehicles handled differently. You had the ice cream truck, and you had a motorcycle, and you had cars, and just a variety of vehicles, and all had different attributes and weapons, and yeah, it was good stuff. But and then the Twisted Metal 2, which was leaps and bounds better than the first one.
Yeah, I'm sure they had a much bigger budget by then. That first one sold extraordinarily well, at least for the time.
Right. And then along comes Activision and say, hey, we could do that too.
And
And
then you got Vigilante 8.
and then you got Vigilante 8.
Okay.
But I have to say, Twisted Metal Black is probably my favorite.
Man, I gotta check that out. I downloaded that on a sale on PS4, but it was like I think it was a PS2 version that's available to play on PS4. Because I don't think they remade that, and I just never got around to playing Black. Man, I heard Black was very good. That's why I bought it. Because it was on sale. I was like, let me get Black.
Black is my favorite. Black was really good.
Was this when they started introducing online? Like, could you play Black online or no?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep. I think that's when the PS2 was trying to do their online thing.
yeah.
Didn't go very well, but they tried.
Black was the last one they made until they brought back Twisted Metal for PS3, which I'm assuming didn't sell well because they just I think it was just called Twisted Metal,
Hmm.
and
For PS3, yeah.
they haven't made anything since.
Nope.
They were
Nope.
trying. When this TV show came out that you alluded to earlier on Peacock, they were trying to spin up one, and I just heard the other day that it's fully canceled. It switched teams once or twice, like got rebooted, got sent to a different team, and yeah, now it's completely
It's
canned.
done.
Yeah.
It's done. Oh
Well,
wow.
this was Sony in 2024, 2025. What were they doing? They were trying to make a battle royale game, right? They wanted to have their online, Fortnite competitor, which
Yeah.
honestly I could see that more with this game than most of Sony's games, but like not everything needs to be that. I think they're learning that the hard way right now.
And the funny thing, going back to Twisted Metal Black, I think what made it stand out was that it had the Rolling Stones painted black as their theme song. It was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It was awesome. Oh, so much fun. Loved it, loved it, loved it. But yes,
Yeah, it's an iconic
no
song.
no Vigilante 8 if it wasn't for Twisted Metal.
Very true. The next two fall in the same bucket. So we're going to talk about Destruction Derby, which is also vehicular combat, and then I'm going to mention Wreckfest. But let's talk about Destruction Derby first. PS1 game.
Hmm.
Uh, I want to say this game had at least one sequel, uh, but
It did.
and I didn't play them, but they were very popular. They sold well. You're just it's Demolition Derby. That's all it is. Essentially.
Hmm. Yeah, there were. I know there were two on PS1, and there were different modes. There was like just regular destruction derby, but then there was like a racing mode
Okay.
where you crashed, your car showed damage and all that other stuff. But the concept was the same. It was just they had like a small track as you're racing, you're crashing into your opponents, and it was good. It was really good.
Did it have weapons like Twisted Metal, or was it more like you're
No
just crashing
weapons,
your car to make the damage happen?
just crashing your car.
Yeah, Wreckfest was, I think, similar. Wreckfest got really good reviews. That came out, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, and they're about to put out a sequel, or maybe they recently put out a sequel. Um, but that game got very good reviews. The people who played it, spoke very highly of it. Again, a demolition derby style game. I don't know if you got weapons in it or not, but I just wanted to give it a shout out because if you're looking for something in that flavor, that's probably the closest thing that you can get to it today. If you want something modern,
What system was it on?
PS4, Xbox One, and then this new version should be on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Probably on. They
Xbox.
probably released it on PS4 and Xbox One also.
Okay, I'll have to take a look for it. See if I can find it. I got too many games coming up in a couple months. I'm sure I'll find it there. But probably find it online somewhere too.
Yeah, the OG one is probably, I'd imagine, it's probably pretty cheap, especially because that's like the previous generation now. So, all right, guys, we're gonna end our show with a pulse check. If you guys don't know what a pulse check is, we just take a snapshot look at two retro video games or old school video games. They don't necessarily have to be retro games, and we look at the prices and we pick a high one and a low one. Last week or last month, or whenever the hell we recorded last, I had the high one. That means this month you have the high one, Wes, and I have the low one. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go first because I'll talk about one of your favorite Sega mascots, good old Sonic.
There you go, man.
And I'm gonna pick for the Sega Saturn, Sonic R or Sonic Racing.
Yeah, Sonic in a car again.
No, he was running.
Oh, he was running in this one. I didn't even realize that. I never played this game.
He was
So,
running. He was running.
so these were foot races. Were you foot racing against other foot racers, or were you foot
You,
racing against cars?
no, you were foot racing against other foot racers, other characters like Knuckles.
How the hell are they going to beat Sonic in a race? That doesn't even make any sense. Now, if you were like Sonic is running and they have
Mm-hmm.
cars, and like okay, yeah, they got to compete with him somehow. None of them are beating Sonic in a race. Get out of here.
It was they toned him down.
Yeah, sure. They must have if Knuckles is competing with him in a race.
There were some vehicles from what I remember, but yeah, Sonic was like on foot
Okay,
running.
sounds about right.
Like Robotnik, I think had his little like he was like in like a egg shaped hovercraft.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So price wise though, it's not crazy expensive, but Sonic R for Sega Saturn loose, you're looking at about $92, just under $93, $92.70. A complete inbox, you're looking at 172.
Okay, yeah,
172 for
that's
a
pretty
Saturn
up there.
game.
Yeah, I mean, Saturn games are expensive in general, but I mean, common Saturn games that like no one cares about are usually like $30 to $50.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody cares about that game. I mean, it is Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
I
And they
have to
didn't
imagine it didn't sell extremely well.
they didn't make a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean,
They
who?
didn't make a whole lot.
It's not a traditional Sonic game; it's a racing game. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you'd have to be a big Sonic fan, you know. I think a few things happened. A lot of kids probably didn't get the Saturn because it was a little bit more expensive. It came out abruptly, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I think if you had that Saturn, you were probably like a young adult, like 18 or older, something like that.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're probably not buying a Sonic racing game. You get my point? Like the people who had the Saturn were probably not buying that. I'm sure some kids got it. I'm sure they did, but yeah, that's probably why it didn't sell crazy well. I'd imagine.
I bought it. I bought it. But anyway, if you want to sink the money, you can find a sealed copy for $300.
Damn.
I know.
That's
It's
the
it's I want to say it's on a little bit on the rare side because I don't see it at all. That's another title I don't see in the wild at all.
yeah. I don't know that it's rare. It's probably uncommon. That's probably the designation that I would give to it. It's like uncommon, but I don't know enough about it to say. I'm just making an assumption.
Well,
Uh,
it's definitely not like Panzer Dragoon Saga rare,
right, right. It's not to that level for sure.
but it's definitely scarce on the
Yeah,
scarce side.
I get some more stuff for my Saturn. My Saturn library is weak. But that stuff's so expensive, man. It's so rare that I buy Saturn games.
Well, we do got conventions coming
I
up.
know. I know. Yeah. I don't need to spend the money. So my pick this week was is Rush 2. So now we mentioned this earlier, San Francisco Rush. It is not a combat game, which is why it wasn't on the list earlier. But I guess you could say the same about Cruising. So maybe we had a little bit of mixed messaging on that part. Rush is awesome. I love Rush, especially Rush 2, for one specific reason. It had the stunt track mode, and the first game didn't have stunt track mode. And I could spend hours and hours in the stunt track mode alone. And if you guys don't remember, they had, I think they were keys, and they would put them in like hard to find places, especially in the stunt track. And there was ways to get them, but you could sit there for hours trying to figure out how to get one key. And had a blast doing that. The racing was fun. I really did enjoy the racing. I'm not trying to diminish it anyways. I think Cruisen's racing was probably a bit better. Um, but I had a lot of fun playing Rush. Rush 2 was the game I preferred. That's why I picked this one. It's also very inexpensive. A loose copy, under $20. Complete in box, 46.16. And if you want to get yourself a sealed one for some ungodly reason, it's $150 for a sealed one, which for N64, a sealed one, $150 really isn't that bad.
No, being that there's a lot more expensive titles out there.
Absolutely. And they
Rush was
they
fun.
they got
Rush was good.
they got rid of the name San Francisco also. It's just Rush
They
2.
did. It
So
is.
and then they put
Yep.
it back in the next one. So it's San Francisco Rush, Rush 2, San Francisco Rush 2049. They should have just left San Francisco Rush in there, like San Francisco Rush 2. Like, who cares? You already established that in the first one. That's like when Gears of War got rid of Gears of War and just called it Gears 5 or whatever. I was like, you guys are idiots. I get that that's what people call it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to call it that. Let the people call it that. Gears 5. I don't get over things easily, Wes. I remember.
I know you do. You hold that grudge.
All right, guys. So there you have it. We got our pulse check in there for you. Thank you guys for joining us on this episode of the Nerd Enthusiast Gaming Podcast. Please make sure if you liked what you heard today, you go and support us over on Patreon. Patreon.com/nerdenthusiast. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. We have exclusive content that goes up there every month. Me and Wes put stuff up there every single month. You can also support us, again, not financially, but you can just give us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It helps us out tremendously. We greatly appreciate that as well. Wes, if people want to find you, sir, where can they do so?
You can find me on Instagram at Grendel5XPX.
Awesome. I'm Matt. You guys can find me on Twitter or X or whatever you'd like to call it at FromNJ2CA. The 2 is a number 2. And make sure you guys check out our other content and stuff. Go to nerdenthusiast.com. That's where our blog lives. You can go to our Linktree. Just go to Linktree, Nerd Enthusiast, or whatever. And you'll find all of our stuff on there. So we have blogs. We have other shows. We have a poker podcast, music podcast. Check it all out. Thank you guys for watching today. We truly appreciate it. Until next time, you all take care.
Have a good one, guys.